All right, so I'm with Kelly Gale. Beast.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi. So this is a very emotional and really well-crafted movie. This movie is about boxing, but it's also about overcoming the odds. Can you just talk about overcoming the odds and getting this film released? Because I heard from past interviews, it was just really a big fight to get it out there over the years.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I wasn't part of all of that. I heard that it was really hard for them to get it made. Tyler told me a lot of stories about that. But luckily for me, I just found out I booked the role and showed up. And that was it.
What was it like when you got the news that you did book the role, and what steps did you take to actually book it, like regarding your audition process or the work it took to get there?
So originally I auditioned for a different role. I auditioned to play Malon's wife years earlier when the because yeah, you're right, like the movie was on and then it was off and then it was on, and I was originally supposed to play her and then the movie fell apart. And then Tyler texted me out of the blue like a year later and was like, "Hey, I need you to tape for this other role and I need it by tomorrow. Can you do that?" And I was like, "Sure, let me just drop everything." And so I did that, and then immediately he just texted me back when I sent him my tapes. "Okay, great. I want you to play Luciana. Can you get on the plane here in a couple of weeks?" And that was it.
And I apologize, I think there's a car alarm outside my house, but regarding acting, has that always been a dream for you since you were a child, or is it something that as you matured into yourself that it became a passion for you? Wondering where in your life it originated.
Yeah, so I used to do I went to theater school as a kid. So I went to drama school and was very, very into that. But then I got the opportunity to start modeling when I was 12 and modeling just took off. So that's when I kind of dropped the ball on acting and because my career was like off to the races with modeling. And then it wasn't until the pandemic hit when modeling kind of we couldn't travel anywhere and all of a sudden I had this time to dive into acting again. And then the very first class that I took, acting class, and it was all over Zoom because of the pandemic, but the very first class I took, I was like, why haven't I been doing this? I immediately felt that spark and passion arise.
Is it hard to actually define what that spark is regarding acting? Because you had it when you were a kid and you're saying you dropped the ball, but really you didn't because you had this really different career as well. But what was that spark specifically when you were working on those Zoom calls and going into yourself like that?
I think it was just excitement because I know a lot of girls that are very excited to do modeling and like when they book a modeling job that's like very exciting to them. And I never really had that with modeling. I was excited to book the Victoria's Secret show when I did that, but that was basically the only thing that excited me with modeling. I never really enjoyed it. So I think it was just feeling the difference of, oh, wait, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Like working 15 hours on it like in a day on an audition. I found that fun and time just went by like that, and I didn't think of it as hard work because I was just like so obsessed with the material and yeah, getting to dive into different characters, so it didn't feel like work. Whereas modeling, every time I had a job, I was like, oh, now I have to get on a plane and go do this shoot. And what if they're not nice and I don't really enjoy this? So I think it was just like being able to feel the difference and feel that excitement.
Speaking of diving into the work for Beast, what was it like playing a character which I feel on the out from the outside looking in was really the voice of reason throughout the entire situation? How did you just really develop and dive into that character? And what was it like just being part of this project? Because it's not just a boxing film, it's a very deep film.
Yeah, it was interesting to me. It took me a little bit of time to Tyler kept talking about her strength and that she's such a strong woman. And I myself feel like, as Kelly, I feel like I'm a strong woman, but I would never be that like willing to let, and just like with that in that loving way support my husband to kind of do anything. So it took me a while to understand what he meant by that was a strong woman, if that makes sense. And then once it clicked, just I understood her from like a spiritual level and to approach everything with love. And that was really like Luciana was. kind of fearless and just putting love and trust into everything. And so yeah, it was interesting and really exciting to get to. I'm really into psychology. That's kind of why I'm into acting and to explore different humans and human experiences. And for me, just that difference between me and Luciana, once that clicked, I found that really kind of, yeah, just inspiring, and it kind of made me reevaluate some of my own ways to approach things.
Regarding inspiring, have you seen Beast play in front of an audience or get feedback? And if so, what has it been like for you just to receive those kind of positive input? I'm assuming from people who,
Yeah, I've seen it a few times now with an audience of like friends and family and stuff, and it's so fun. It's really fun seeing how excited everyone gets, and just how intense the movie is, and how that people are like on the edge of their seat watching it, which is what we want.
Kelly, final question for just for and this is sort of an impossible question, but we're going to recommend Beast on the podcast. But I also like to recommend films that actors and directors love. Can you name a couple of movies that are very personal to you that you would like our listeners to watch, and what makes them special for you?
Hmm. Like my favorite movies?
Yeah, just pick one or two.
Okay, the two that come to mind are Requiem for a Dream and Marriage Story.
Okay, Requiem for a Dream, not exactly a happy story, but what stands out for that? What is that movie regarding? I guess
Um,
psychology, right?
yeah, it's for me, yeah, again, psychology, and just the characters are just so complex and interesting to me, and it's very deep and sad, and just brings up a lot of feelings when I watch that movie. And then Marriage Story, the writing, the acting, it's just phenomenal.
And possibly the realism regarding relationships, I'm assuming. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, really love Beast. Thank you so much for your time, Kelly. Take care. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.